A former magistrate, prosecutor, and currently a criminal defense attorney. I'm using On the Level with LINSKY to introduce some new ideas and concepts involving the criminal justice system. Hopefully, we'll be able to provide some information and learn some new things along the way. Tonight, it's my honor to have back as a return guest, my first return guest, Corporal Keely Ray, who's the director of the JCAP program at the Allen County Jail. JCAP stands for the Jail's Chemical Addictions Program. They are currently halfway through their 4th men's class, and they've started a women's program as well. Erin is also joining us this evening to give us some insight onto how the program works from a therapist perspective. Good evening to both of you. Thank you for being here tonight. Keely, how did the program actually begin?
Oh, like all the way from the beginning?
All the way from the beginning.
So the concept came from a successful program in Kosciuszko County. That's where our administration, Sheriff Hirschberger and Deputy Chief David Butler, went and witnessed that program. Wanted to bring that program to our facility, but had to find the right person and work through some things. Then COVID hit, and we had the delay that seemed to stop the world.
Yes.
So that's kind of the beginning. They asked me to start the program, develop the program, based off of the concept in Kosciuszko County. But of course, bringing a new program to Allen County and our size and just the magnitude of Allen County definitely had its challenges.
When did you actually, with the delays brought on by COVID, when did you have the first group actually begin the JCAP program at the jail?
So I believe August 1st, 2022 was our first group.
Okay. And right now you're in the 4th, halfway through your 4th group
Yes.
of men. Is that
Yes.
correct? How long is each class take?
16 weeks.
16 weeks, okay. And when people come into the program, are there any promises of any benefit for having completed that program?
JCAP is designed on a voluntary basis, no promises that this is going to benefit you in any way but your own recovery.
How is the selection process for getting into the program?
So applications are passed out to the population of the facility. Of course, I get several, usually 150 applications, and then I have to determine, based on charges, who's really wanting or who's possibly coming maybe for the wrong reason, thinking that it would benefit their case. Then usually I take 20 to a selection committee, and we kind of hash out who we're going to take in the class.
Okay. What kind of programs are there in the program? I know, obviously some therapy, right?
Mm-hmm. So I will let Erin talk on the therapy piece,
Okay.
but all of the outside community connections that are developed while they're in JCAP. So they get AA, NA, Inside Outside Dad, which is a parenting class. They have DBT that's not provided by Erin. They're also Project Me, a Recovery Cafe, which are all free community resources. They provide peer support. I also have individuals come in from Bare Knuckles Recovery, Allendale. So they make these connections so they have the support when they get out.
Good. So what kind of counseling, what kind of therapy is involved in the JCAP program, Erin?
So each group is offered a variety of different classes. So I provide Seeking Safety, which is looking at the effects of trauma on addiction and addiction on trauma. And then they also get Anger Management, which is by the same authors as MRT. I provide MRT as well. And then we kind of do a matrix style program, which encompasses all the things she just mentioned, on top of looking at CBT, smart recovery, and just kind of giving them all the information they could possibly need to go out and be successful. Each guy also gets offered 30 minutes of individual therapy every week. And most of my guys really enjoy that. That gives them time to build a good connection with somebody who doesn't have any bias towards them. We work on coping skills. We work on specific goals for them. And I see a lot of success through individual therapy.
Oh, okay. Very good. I can see where that could possibly be important.
Yeah.
Do you find that it's true that often people who are engaged in substance abuse and addiction also have some mental health challenges and traumas that they've been through that they just don't work through? They just try to tamp down with the substances.
Absolutely. I would say every individual that has come through our JCAP program has some sort of anxiety. They have some sort of depression. A lot of it's grief-related issues, maybe a loved one passed or they've lost connection with a loved one because of their addiction, and it's kind of spiraled out of control. I would say the biggest thing that I focus on with majority of my people is grief.
Okay. Do you work at all on helping to reunite families to get those connections reestablished?
She is the queen of that. I help wherever she needs me to help. I go to family night. I do all of that. She has this special connection with people and with families that helps our participants to go out and feel empowered and to have the people they truly love really backing them in this journey.
Wow, okay. Now, Keely, are all of the people that come to work there, are they paid employees of the Sheriff's Department? Are they volunteers? How does that work?
They are all volunteers in the community. Erin, through her company and the grant through the ISA, that is how the therapy and counseling is funded.
Okay.
There's always a concern, like, what's going to happen if that grant runs out? So I would like to think that someday we would have a funding source. I don't know what that's going to look like because JCAP is in no way funded by the taxpayers' money.
Okay. Do you have any ability with the JCAP program to accept donations from the community if somebody were interested in donating to the program?
Absolutely. They can simply, contact the Sheriff's Department. There is a donation line that's specifically for JCAP.
Okay. And you have a presence on social media as well, don't you, for
Yes.
the JCAP program? What platforms is it? Are you on Facebook? Are you?
It's on Facebook, Allen County JCAP. So that gives really an outlet for families to watch quietly and see the progress that their loved one's making, that it isn't just another lie or another manipulation, that they are actually doing this. Usually my family communication starts out from the very beginning. I just send a simple text saying, your loved one has voluntarily been accepted to this program. You can follow on Facebook. Periodically, I will send messages if someone's doing really well or they're struggling, kind of rebuilding that family dynamics that's been so damaged. And then towards the end, we have a family night, and the guys have an opportunity to send a video to their loved ones and kind of have some of those hard conversations while it's safe with us. And then we equipped the family with the resources of what it looks like to have those healthy boundaries, where they can get help, who they can get help with, because there's so much stigma that revolves around addiction, that it's not something that you can just feel comfortable going out. So we provide them with all of that while they attend a dinner.
Okay. Very good, very good. Now, you have also started a women's program, is that correct?
Yes.
Is that run exactly like the men's program?
No, unfortunately, we just don't have the space in our facility to consume another unit without overburdening the other units. Everybody knows that we're in a federal lawsuit, and we have overcrowding and all these issues. So I took the therapeutic component of JCAP and implemented some of the AA, and it's really an opportunity to plant a seed for those ladies wanting to get help. It starts building those community connections. Eventually, if and when we get our new facility, I will be able to have 2 fully functioning JCAP programs.
Okay. And I know for the men's program, they have their own block.
Yes.
Is that correct? And the longer they're in the program, that block tends to change a little bit. Is that? They get some privileges that are fairly unique to people who are spending any time in the Allen County Jail. Would that be a fair statement?
That is a fair statement. My philosophy behind that was they're there. They're already serving that punishment. So if you're putting in the work and you're putting in the effort and you're really working this program, then, as the group comes together and the dynamics come together, they get a coffee pot and they get a microwave and they get some of those perks, but they're working for those perks.
And so I guess everybody can understand if they haven't spent any time in the Allen County Jail. A coffee pot is a potential weapon.
Right.
A microwave is a potential weapon. A television that's not behind a grid could be a potential weapon.
Yes.
So when you set these things free, you're showing a great amount of trust to the people in the program.
Right. And that's the program is based on trust. Like, I have to trust you because I can't have anyone get hurt. And so I do trust the guys in the block, and we have not had a single incident of any sort happen.
And do they kind of watch out and make certain that everybody stays in check, so to speak?
They hold each
They
other
do.
accountable.
They do. It's very unique because when we obviously started at the same time with this program, but I had no idea what to expect. I thought it would be a lot of like us monitoring the TV or the phone. It's none of that. We had that maybe with one group, and that was kind of some growing pains. But all of our groups have managed to they're very self-aware, and they're able to kind of check attitudes or do whatever they need to do without us even having to step in most of the time, which I think builds a really positive rapport between peers as well. Very, very rarely does it come back to us that, we had to have this hard conversation. And our last couple groups have done peer groups. They meet once a week, and they, hash out whatever they got to hash out, and that has seemed to diffuse a lot of us having to get involved at all.
Oh, that's wonderful. Do you have any of the individuals from the prior classes come back and participate?
Yes. So graduates have the opportunity to come back and speak to the new class. We also have individuals who, if they're still serving some time, they remain as a block mentor for the incoming group. And that's extremely beneficial. Establishing that trust within us.
Yes. Yeah. And do you find that the classes, the groups get fairly bonded among the group, the guys do?
Extremely.
Yeah. And it's so interesting because with our first group, she would keep saying, like, you guys will have contact outside of here. And in my head, I'm kind of like, I guess. But they do. They keep each other in check. Anytime we've had someone who maybe we're worried about, we reach out to the other gentleman that graduated, and they're the first ones on the case to figure out what's going on and kind of, give us feedback. So yeah, they every group is unique, but they all are tight-knit in their own way.
And do you guys maintain contact with graduates?
I do, all the time. Whether that's, I'm having a rough time just managing life, or we have the celebrations of I got custody of my children back, or I got to see my son for the first time since my addiction started. So it's a little bit of everything.
Do the women have the opportunity to get as bonded, having kind of a different, because they're not in a class for a set period of time. They kind of come and go based on their own schedules. Is that right?
So no matter how long you're there, whether it's 2 weeks or 6 months, as long as you're participating and you're putting in the work while you're there, you can stay. So right now I have a pretty solid foundation of females, and as they transition to either going home, potentially going to prison, or just being time served, I can bring new females in. So that dynamic shifts a little bit, but the ones that are there are still have that foundation.
Good. Okay. And do you, again, with the female population, you've had some of them leave? Mm-hmm. Do you maintain contact with them? Do they maintain contact with each other?
They absolutely can reach out to me. They leave with contact information of not only the community resources, because it is a revolving block. I have created a whole plethora of resources. They actually have a binder that says every place where there's meetings, where there's help, all of these community resources. So if they are there for a short time, they have access to that. They can write it down. I can make them copies.
And there are a lot of resources within our community for the support community.
There are.
Recovery, yes. Yeah. Do you continue? This has just always been something that fascinated and astonished me since I've had the pleasure of getting to know some of the participants of the program. I'm actually feeling a little bad because it dawns on me, I don't think I've come to visit this class, and so I need to get in there.
Absolutely.
What I've heard from them over and over again is I never realized anybody cared about me like this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find is that a continuing theme, both of the men and the women?
I think in the depths of addiction, they have completely given up on themselves. Their family has given up on them. And someone simply taking that time, it gives them a different perspective. People do care. And that's kind of where those light bulbs start clicking.
Yeah, it's funny you mention it because we were on the phone as we were driving over here, giving each other updates like, hey, have you heard about this guy? Have you heard from this guy? And we were literally just talking about, I think what empowers, at least my perspective for the gentleman, is just knowing that, hey, 2 people outside of my family care. They care to see me be successful and, reach my goals. And that's something I think as a team we continue to work towards. We are always going to care for you. And we tell them from the day they walk in, hey, we love you guys. You don't know us from Adam yet, but we do love you and we do care about you. And I think that goes a long way for a lot of them.
Yeah, I believe that's very true, yes. I had another question. I think I've lost it. Oh, yes. You help not only with the psychological aspect of things, but you also help with some basic life skills. Resume writing. Mm-hmm. Do you provide opportunities and contacts for employment once they leave the jail?
Yes. So they have the careers portion of the class. They also have mock interviews with outside companies, and several of the gentlemen have had opportunities for employment even before they leave.
Oh, wow.
So that's a huge barrier, going out and finding that job. So they leave with an outfit that they can wear to their first interview. They have the resume in hand. So as many barriers as we can break down before they leave us just sets them up better for success.
Do you have connections with and help them find halfway houses
Mhm.
to get to when they leave? So
Yep.
they
They can apply for halfway houses. Each case is unique, whether the court has to approve it or if that's something that they just feel that they need for their sobriety. So absolutely, wherever they want to go, we can start that process before they leave us.
And when somebody's participating in your program, as a general rule, they're going to have something going on with the court system. Do you reach out to the parties involved in the lawsuit, the defense attorney, the prosecutor, anything like that on any occasion?
So when someone is accepted to the program, I send a courtesy email to their attorney and the prosecutors just saying, hey, this individual has been accepted into JCAP. If you would like an update, we would be more than happy to provide a letter. And then I leave it in their hands, whether they choose to pursue that.
So you will provide letters of support, explain what this person has accomplished while in the program to be used in the criminal case if it's asked for or if an attorney feels it's appropriate.
Yes. That's kind of stepping out of my realm. But, if they're putting in the work, we will write those letters and have in the past.
Several times, yeah.
Yeah. I know you helped a client of mine and we got a very good outcome, and I continue to hear from him, and I believe he's doing well and getting to places and doing things that I don't think a couple of years ago he ever envisioned him being that person, and it's really been awesome to see that growth in. And I know there are other very similar stories coming through your program, and that's really amazing. You mentioned, what do you see as the future for the program?
I believe it will continue to grow. And, right now we have a building that we have to deal with that isn't designed or set up. But in the future, I'm hopeful that when all of that takes place, I can have 2 JCAP programs running full swing and, continue to help individuals that want the help.
What's the current number that you have in a class for the men?
So max capacity for the class is 15 at a time. Okay. I've never hit that capacity. One, because I wanted to start out slow, because it was just me, and we had kinks to work out and some issues. And then I've started with a class of 12. Some of them don't make it. It's real easy to say this is too hard. I'm not ready for this, and they leave the block because it's not conducive to the group.
Okay. So, and if one of the men leaves partway through, that person's not replaced until the class is complete. Is that
Correct.
right? Okay. How many women do you generally have in the women's program? I know it's kind of a rotating number, but...
Yeah. So we started out with 12, and as some of them have left, I think our current number is 9. Okay. But I can move some more females in.
Do you ever see the program being worked around some of the individuals who may be sentenced to a term at the Allen County Jail? I know a lot of who you're dealing with now are waiting for a resolution on a case, but there are some lower level offenders, some probation violations who actually end up having their sentence ordered to be served at the jail.
Right.
Is that part of the people that you get into your program, or is that something you envision for part of the program?
So I do have some gentlemen that, had the older F6 cases that they're just serving out their time. And, JCAP is no promise, no time cuts. It's all about the recovery. So I take those individuals if they apply. knowing that, they want to set themselves up so when they walk out the door, they're in the best possible mindset.
Do you think it makes some of them actually more motivated, the fact that there are no promises to work hard and be that model?
Yeah, I believe that that's a huge buy-in because they know that they're doing this for themselves. No one is making them do it. They're choosing to do it. And I think in that setting, in the unknown of the criminal world, where a lot of times they don't know what the outcome is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
They know what it could be, but this feels like they're doing something while they're sitting there.
And we've actually heard that before of like, I've never accomplished anything. I've been in and out of the criminal justice system my whole life, and I've never completed a program. I've never completed probation. So to come in and have that internal motivation, that kind of intrinsic value, I think for some of our people, it's something of like, I can do this and I can show myself and everyone around me that I'm capable of completing something without being ordered to do it. We've seen that with quite a few of our older gentlemen who have been in and out of the system, and it's really rewarding to them to know that they can do it without being ordered to.
Is that part of what you deal with as well? Because I can only imagine as somebody gets entrenched into the system and they fail at probation and they fail at they fail at things over and over again, that's got to become part of where their mindset becomes.
Absolutely.
I can't do anything, so I'm just going to go out here and revert to my old ways and do what I know. It's my comfort.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we see that with a lot of our people, to be honest, not just in the JCAP program, in the jail in general. But I do see a lot of people who are like, well, I screwed up probation, and then I was sentenced to work release, and then I screwed that up. And then I think it becomes they're defeated, so then they think nobody else around them believes in them. Kind of that self-defeating prophecy in a way. So I think when they come in and they see that I'm capable of doing this and I have people backing me, it's really rewarding to them, and it motivates them to go way further than they thought they were capable of doing.
Yeah. Well, I again want to thank you both for having been here this evening. It's always just amazing for me to hear the stories and learn more about this program as it grows and grows. I think it's awesome. Was there anything that I forgot to ask you about the program that you wanted to be sure people know?
I don't believe so. I think
Okay.
thank you
Okay.
for having us.
Yeah, it's been great, and we'll have to have a couple if we can find a couple more of the graduates or something who want to come back. I'll be happy to have you all back again.
Perfect.
Okay. I do want to thank my guests this evening. I hope that everybody has been able to learn some new information. I think this program at the jail is proving to be a very invaluable asset to the community. It's not easy taking a group of addicts. Some of the people, I think it's fair to say, have been somewhat institutionalized, having been in the jail over and over again. And changing mindsets, changing people, bringing them back into the community so that they can become productive citizens, see their children, provide for their children, be dads, be moms when they weren't doing that before is a great benefit. If you get an opportunity to go to the Facebook page, learn more about the program, please do. Again, my name is Marsha LINSKY. This is On the Level with LINSKY. I thank you for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed the show, learned something new, and we'll see you next time.